Here's the thing about disappearing that nobody tells you. It's not about punishing them. It's about protecting yourself. When Maya told Alex her coworkers thought she could do better, she didn't just end a relationship. She revealed exactly who she was. Someone who needed a committee vote to determine his value. Someone who stood on him like a floor while reaching for a ceiling she'd never touch. And when he walked out that night, bag over his shoulder, no argument, no begging, no audition for his own relationship, he didn't just leave her apartment, he left the entire game. The one where you negotiate your worth with people who've already decided you're replaceable. The one where closure means listening to someone explain why hurting you was actually healthy. The one where you're supposed to fight for someone who let strangers decide you weren't worth keeping. Alex didn't disappear to make a statement. He disappeared because he meant it.
All right, buckle up because I'm about to tell you about a dude named Alex who got dumped by committee vote. Like his girlfriend literally let her coworkers decide if he was good enough. Wild, right? So Alex is 31, works in logistics, lives in the Midwest doing the whole corporate routine. Early mornings, meetings that could have been emails, gym at night, repeat. Nothing flashy, just consistent, solid dude energy. His girlfriend Maya, 29, works in marketing. They'd been together about 2 years, living together for 9 months. Alex paid most of the bills because he made more money and it made sense at the time. First red flag nobody noticed. Everything was fine until about 6 months before this story pops off. Maya gets tight with this new crew at work, all single, all loud, all living that we're in our era lifestyle. Constant group chats, after-work drinks, the whole vibe. At first, Alex was cool with it. He's not controlling, didn't check her phone, didn't complain about late nights, just trusted her like an actual adult. Mistake? Maybe. We'll see. But then the comments started. Little jabs disguised as jokes. Other guys at my office dress better. So-and-so just got promoted and bought a Tesla. Maybe you were just in different phases. You know, that passive-aggressive stuff people do when they're testing the waters. Alex addressed it calmly, asked if she was unhappy. Maya hit him with the classic, "You're being sensitive," and said her coworkers just helped her see her worth. That phrase, "see her worth," is code. It's what people say when they're about to trade you in but want to sound evolved about it. Then, last Tuesday night happened. Maya came home with this eerie calm. Too calm, like when your mom says we need to talk and you know you're cooked. She sat down at the kitchen table and dropped the line, "We need to talk." Here's where it gets absolutely unhinged. She told Alex, straight up, no sugarcoating, that her coworkers thought she could do better. Not, "I think we should break up." Not, "I'm not happy." Literally, "My coworkers held a meeting about your value and you didn't pass the vibe check." Imagine getting dumped by people who've never even met you. Your relationship ending because Brittany from accounting thinks you're mid. Absolutely wild. But here's where Alex became a legend. Most dudes would have argued, "What do you mean? Your coworkers don't even know me. Let's talk about this." Nah, not Alex. He just nodded once, got up, walked to the bedroom, pulled out his duffel bag, started packing. Maya just sat there watching. Didn't follow him, didn't say anything, just observed like this was a documentary. Alex packed efficiently. Clothes, work stuff, toiletries, things he bought himself. No drama, no slamming drawers, no emotional breakdown. His heart rate was steady, which surprised even him. He realized later he'd probably already accepted this outcome weeks ago without knowing it. When he walked back into the living room with his bag, Maya finally spoke. "Okay." That's it. Okay. Like they were confirming a dentist appointment cancellation. No wait, no let's think about this, just okay. Alex asked when she wanted him to grab the rest of his stuff. She said they'd coordinate later. Professional tone. Corporate email energy. That's when it hit him. She'd already emotionally checked out. This wasn't a discussion. It was a notification. She was just informing him of a decision that had already been made in a group chat he wasn't invited to. Alex walked out, closed the door, sat in his car for a full minute. Not crying, not raging, just processing that it was actually over. Clean cut. No villain origin story. Just done. So Alex checked into a hotel that night and slept straight through, like slept. Not tossing and turning, not doom scrolling, not texting friends for sympathy, just out. Next morning, he went to work like normal, then signed a short-term lease on a furnished place closer to downtown. New neighborhood, new routines, fewer reminders. Dude was moving. 3 days later, he went back to the apartment while Maya was at work and packed the rest of his stuff. Here's what's creepy. She hadn't moved any of his things. Everything was exactly where he left it, like a museum exhibit. Man Who Left, 2024, mixed media. That felt intentional, like she expected him to come crawling back. That evening, the texts started. Not hostile, uncertain. Are you okay? This feels sudden. Classic post-breakup panic when someone actually leaves instead of begging to stay. Alex didn't respond. Not out of spite, because leaving was the response. What else was there to say? The messages kept coming for 2 days. Nothing explosive, just these weird check-ins. Then one said she hoped they could talk like adults and get closure. Closure. That word people use when they want to feel better about hurting you. Let me explain why dumping you was actually good for both of us so I can sleep at night. Alex ignored everything until Sunday night. Not because he was emotional, because he wanted to be intentional if he replied at all. He'd already moved his stuff, changed his address at work. The decision was done. What remained was just housekeeping. So he sent one message, no back and forth. He said he wished her luck finding someone who matched what she and her coworkers were looking for, said there was no anger and no need for closure conversations because the situation was already clear, said he was moving on and wouldn't be staying in contact. Boom. Done. Professional, clean. Maya responded immediately. Long message this time, more emotion. Said she never meant for it to end like this, that she thought he'd push back or ask her to reconsider, that it escalated faster than expected. Translation, she expected him to fight for her, to prove his worth, to audition for his own relationship. Alex didn't reply. Instead, he blocked her number, then Instagram, then LinkedIn, then email. Everywhere they had overlap. Not out of cruelty, out of efficiency. He knew himself well enough to know that open channels invite unnecessary noise. That night, sitting in his new apartment surrounded by boxes, Alex had this uncomfortable realization. Maya didn't break up with him because he was bad to her. She broke up with the version of him she compared against other men, and he had zero interest in auditioning. The next week was quiet, unsettlingly so. No notifications, no updates, no sudden apologies, just silence. He filled it with work, gym, and setting up his space exactly how he wanted it. Minimal, functional, calm. The kind of space you build when nobody's telling you, we should get a decorative pillow there. Friends asked what happened. He kept it simple. We wanted different things. No rants, no character assassination. He wasn't trying to win a narrative war. 2 weeks later, a mutual friend mentioned she was surprised he disappeared so completely. Apparently, Maya had told people she expected some kind of dramatic phase, anger, negotiation, a glow-up comeback where he'd beg for another chance. There was none. Alex didn't downgrade his life out of spite. He upgraded it because he was no longer negotiating his value in a room of people who didn't know him. And that was just the beginning. About a month after Alex dipped, the changes started compounding. Not planned, just natural consequences of not having dead weight. The shorter commute gave him back almost an hour a day. He used it to train harder and sleep better. Revolutionary concept. He picked up a project at work he'd previously passed on because it would have meant more time away from home. Without needing to coordinate schedules or check with Maya, he just took it and delivered results fast. That turned into a promotion discussion sooner than expected. Nothing dramatic, just more responsibility, more autonomy, and a noticeable pay bump. He didn't announce it to anyone, just adjusted his budget and kept moving. Then he moved cities. Not across the country, but far enough that running into Maya was no longer a background concern. New lease, new routines, new gym where nobody knew his relationship history. That alone felt like oxygen. Around this time, mutual friends started acting weird, guarded, curious. One eventually spilled the tea. Maya had been asking questions, not directly, indirectly, the worst kind. How's Alex doing? Is he dating? Did he really block me everywhere, or was that temporary? Apparently, she'd expected a cooling-off period, some time apart, then Alex would come back improved and apologetic, like a software update. Instead, he vanished and his life kept expanding without her. The tone shifted after that. Maya's curiosity turned sharp. She started saying blocking someone was immature, that disappearing was avoidant behavior, that she never actually broke up with him, just wanted honesty. The same coworkers who told her she could do better were now validating that Alex had failed some invisible test. Alex heard all this secondhand and felt nothing. Not anger, just distance. The opinions of people who never knew him stopped carrying weight the moment he stopped standing in front of them. What struck him later wasn't that Maya wanted him back. It was that she wanted access, to reassurance, to the version of him that absorbed doubt and stayed put. That version no longer existed. The upgrade wasn't the job or the city. It was the absence of negotiation, and that made her absence permanent. A few weeks after that, the indirect contact ramped up. Never from Maya directly, through friends who suddenly wanted to grab coffee or check in. People who'd been neutral during the breakup were now oddly invested in Alex's emotional availability. The pattern was obvious. Someone would ask how he was doing, he'd answer briefly, then they'd mention Maya without mentioning Maya. She's having a hard time. She didn't expect things to end so cleanly. One friend actually said Maya felt replaced by his silence. That phrasing stayed with Alex. What became clear, the disappearance bothered her more than the breakup itself. There was no arc where she got to feel chosen or reconsidered, no moment where she could frame herself as the one who walked away. The story ended without her input. Alex learned later that things at Maya's job shifted too. The coworkers who encouraged her suddenly lost interest when the narrative stopped being entertaining. One of them started dating a guy Maya openly compared Alex to. Another left the company. The feedback loop disappeared. That's when Maya's tone changed again. Less confidence, more regret. She told a mutual friend she thought Alex would come back improved, that the point was to motivate him. Hearing that confirmed everything Alex needed to know. He wasn't a partner in her mind. He was a project. The real shift happened when Maya finally tried to see him in person. Not randomly, not by accident, planned. Alex was leaving the gym on a Thursday night, same time he always went, when he saw her car in the lot. He recognized it immediately, even though he hadn't seen it in months. She was leaning against it like this was some rom-com moment she'd rehearsed, probably watched The Notebook 3 times that week for inspiration. She smiled when she saw him. Not nervous, confident, like she'd finally figured out the right move. "Hey," asked how he'd been, commented on how different he looked. She said it casually, but there was evaluation in her eyes, the kind you do when you're checking if an option is still available. Alex kept it polite, said he was doing well, didn't stop walking. She matched his pace, started her prepared speech, said she'd been doing a lot of thinking, that the breakup gave her perspective, that her coworkers had projected their own insecurities onto her relationship, that she realized stability was rare and she may have undervalued it. All the buzzwords, all the therapy speak, very convincing if you don't know what manipulation sounds like. Alex listened without reacting. No nodding, no encouraging cues, just present. Then she dropped the line that ended it completely. Maybe we both needed this time apart to grow, and maybe now we could talk about starting fresh. Time apart, like they were on a break, like Ross and Rachel, like this was all part of some grand plan. That was the first time Alex actually stopped walking. He looked at her, told her no, calmly, no edge. Said they weren't on a break, they were done. Said he didn't disappear to be rediscovered. He left because he meant it. Her expression changed, not anger, something closer to disbelief, like her script didn't account for this response. She said she didn't understand how he could just shut her out like that after everything. Alex told her that was exactly why. He wished her well again, walked to his car, drove home. Later that night, he blocked the last remaining connection they had through mutuals who kept relaying information. Not because he was hiding, because he was finished. That encounter made one thing clear. Maya didn't miss him. She missed the version of herself that felt powerful when he stayed. And once Alex understood that, there was nothing left to question. After that parking lot encounter, things went quiet. Really quiet this time.
No friends checking in, no second-hand updates. The absence felt deliberate, like Maya finally understood there was no angle left. Alex's life kept moving forward in very ordinary but meaningful ways. He signed a longer lease, took on a mentorship role at work, started planning 6 months ahead instead of reacting week to week. The pace slowed, but the direction stayed solid. Then about 2 months later, curiosity caught up with Maya in the weirdest way. A coworker of Alex's mentioned her during lunch without realizing the history. Small world, right? Apparently, Maya had applied for a position at a partner company they occasionally collaborated with. Same industry, different role. And here's the kicker. She dropped Alex's name in conversation, casually, as someone she used to live with who worked in operations. First time she'd used his proximity as leverage. The application didn't go anywhere, not because of Alex, because she was underqualified. But hearing that she still referenced him in professional spaces was telling. He'd become part of her credibility instead of her past. She was name-dropping him like a reference on a resume she'd never asked permission to use. A week after that, Alex got one final message through a mutual friend who'd stayed neutral the entire time, the Switzerland of their friend group. He asked if Alex would consider unblocking Maya because she wanted to apologize properly, not to get back together, just to clear the air. Alex thought about it longer than he expected, not because he missed her, because he wanted to be sure his no wasn't reflexive. In the end, he said no. Told the friend, she already said everything she needed to say the night she let her coworkers define my worth. Anything after that is revisionist. The friend understood, didn't push. What surprised Alex was how little emotion came with that decision. No tension, no relief, just finality, like closing a browser tab you forgot was open. Some people think disappearing is immature. Alex thinks lingering where you're not respected is worse. At that point, the story could have ended there. Clean, quiet, done. But it didn't, because that's when Maya actually wanted him back, like seriously wanted him back. It started subtly, a like on an old post from a burner account. A friend mentioning Maya asked if Alex was seeing anyone serious. Then it escalated. She showed up at a mutual friend's birthday dinner Alex had already committed to. He didn't expect to see her there, and judging by the way she froze when they made eye contact, she didn't expect him to look so unbothered. She lingered nearby the entire night, laughing a little too loud, checking her phone a little too often, making sure Alex noticed she was being noticed. Classic look how fun I am without you energy, except it read more desperate than carefree. At one point, she pulled him aside, not dramatically, just enough to talk privately. She said she'd made a mistake, that she underestimated what she had, that losing him had been a wake-up call. Said the dating pool wasn't what her coworkers made it sound like, that comparison culture was toxic, that she missed how calm things were with him. Alex listened, again, because he's polite like that. Then she said she'd been thinking about the future a lot, stability, partnership, building something real. Asked if he ever thought about what could have been if we handled things differently. That's when Alex finally understood the full picture. Maya didn't want Alex back because she loved him. She wanted him back because the alternative didn't outperform the memory. He wasn't the first choice then, he was the safe correction now. Alex told her he was glad she learned something from the experience, told her he hoped she found what she was looking for, and told her he wasn't interested in revisiting the past. Maya looked genuinely shocked, like she'd expected resistance or negotiation. Instead, she got closure she didn't control. She asked if there was really no chance. Alex said no, not because he was hurt, because he was finished. Simple, clean, devastating. He left shortly after that, didn't make a scene, just left. Later that night, Maya texted him from a number he hadn't blocked yet. Said she'd do things differently this time, that she wouldn't let other people influence her, that she was ready now. Alex blocked that number too, because readiness after loss is not the same as readiness from respect. And that was the moment the dynamic finally flipped for good. After that, Maya's attempts stopped completely. No more indirect feelers, no surprise appearances, no new numbers. What replaced it?
Reputation management. Alex started hearing that Maya had reframed the story, not aggressively, carefully. She told people the breakup was mutual, that they grew apart, that Alex had always been a bit emotionally closed off. Nothing outrageous, just enough to protect her image without reopening contact. Alex didn't correct it, didn't counter it. Anyone who mattered already knew how he moved. Quiet consistency has a way of speaking for itself. What had changed was how people interacted with Alex. At work, he was suddenly being taken more seriously, not because of his title, because he was decisive. In his personal life, similar thing. People listened more closely. There was less testing, less probing. Boundaries, when enforced once and cleanly, tend to stick. About 6 months after the breakup, Alex ran into one of Maya's former coworkers at a conference. They ended up talking over coffee between sessions. She mentioned Maya unprompted. Said she'd gone through a rough patch after Alex left, that she was frustrated because things didn't improve the way she expected them to, that the same coworkers who hyped her up had quietly distanced themselves when there was nothing left to gossip about. The coworker laughed awkwardly and said something that summed it all up. "I think she thought you were a floor, not a ceiling." Boom. That sentence explained everything retroactively. Alex wasn't someone Maya built with. He was something she stood on while looking elsewhere. And when he stepped away, she fell back to ground level and realized how far up she'd been. By then, Alex was already elsewhere mentally, dating again, slowly. Not chasing chemistry, chasing alignment. Asking different questions, watching behavior instead of listening to narratives. The irony? The more Alex's life stabilized, the less dramatic it looked from the outside. No glow-up montage, no revenge arc, just forward motion. And that apparently bothered Maya more than anything else ever had. About a year after everything ended, Alex realized he'd stopped thinking about Maya entirely. Not actively avoiding the thought, just genuinely not accessing it anymore. That's how he knew it was finished. He was settled in a different city, in a role that challenged him without draining him, and in a relationship that felt quiet in the right way. No comparisons, no audience, no third-party commentary. Just two people choosing each other without needing validation. Every once in a while, someone would still bring Maya up, usually unintentionally. "Oh, did you hear? Maya moved jobs again. She's dating someone new. She changed friend groups." The updates sounded busy and restless, like someone constantly rearranging furniture, hoping the room will finally feel right. Alex wished her well privately and moved on with his day. Looking back, the moment that mattered most wasn't when she said they should break up. It was how easily she let him go. That told him everything about how she valued what they had. He just responded in kind. People like to frame disappearances as dramatic statements. He ghosted her. He went no contact. He cut her off. Alex's wasn't dramatic. It was logistical. When someone tells you they think you're replaceable, the correct response isn't to argue your case. It's to remove yourself from the comparison entirely. Alex didn't win Maya back, didn't try, didn't need to. What he gained was something far more useful. Proof that he could walk away cleanly. Proof that he didn't need consensus to trust his own judgment. Proof that stability doesn't come from convincing someone to stay, but from choosing where you no longer belong. Here's what nobody tells you about breakups. The hardest part isn't the leaving, it's resisting the urge to return. Because our brains are stupid. They romanticize the past. They forget the bad parts and highlight the good parts, like a heavily filtered Instagram post. Alex could have gone back multiple times. Maya gave him opportunities, but he didn't. Not because he was stubborn, because he remembered. He remembered sitting at that kitchen table hearing, "My coworkers think I can do better." He remembered the "okay" when he started packing. He remembered being a project instead of a partner. And every time Maya reached out, those memories were louder than the loneliness. That's the real test. Can you remember why you left when the leaving gets hard? Most people can't. They backslide. They try again. They convince themselves it'll be different this time. Alex didn't, because he trusted his past self's decision. The version of him that walked out that door, that dude had all the information, all the context, and he chose to leave. Future Alex respected that decision. There's something powerful about honoring your own boundaries, even when nobody's watching, even when it would be easier not to. Alex could have unblocked Maya, could have had closure coffee, could have entertained the what if. He didn't, not because he was trying to punish her, because he was protecting himself. And that's the difference between revenge and self-respect. Revenge is about making the other person feel bad. Self-respect is about making sure you feel good. Alex didn't need Maya to suffer. He just needed to not suffer with her. By the time a year had passed, Maya had become a case study in Alex's mind. Not a person he hated, just a lesson he'd learned. The lesson? People will treat you exactly how you allow them to treat you. Maya treated Alex like an option because he allowed it. He tolerated the comments, the comparisons, the slow erosion of respect. Until he didn't. And the moment he stopped tolerating it, everything changed. Not because Maya changed, because he did. He changed his location, his standards, his tolerance for disrespect. And suddenly, the people who didn't meet those standards disappeared from his life. Natural selection, but make it emotional.
Let's talk about what Alex did right, because this dude basically wrote a masterclass in dignified exits. Step 1. He didn't argue. When Maya said her coworkers thought she could do better, Alex didn't defend himself, didn't list his accomplishments, didn't try to prove his worth. Why? Because the moment someone asks you to audition for your own relationship, you've already lost. You can't logic someone into respecting you. Respect isn't a debate, it's a baseline. Step 2. He left immediately. No let's think about this, no sleep on it, no cooling off period. He packed and dipped, same night. That's crucial, because every day you stay after the disrespect is a day you're teaching them you'll tolerate it. Step 3. He went no contact. Not as punishment, as protection. Every channel blocked, every mutual informed, every pathway closed. People think this is harsh. It's not. It's necessary. Because the person who hurt you will absolutely try to come back, not because they changed, because they're bored or lonely or the grass wasn't greener. And if there's an open channel, you'll hear them out. You'll consider it. You'll waver. Step 4. He upgraded his life. New city, new job, new routines, new apartment. Not to show Maya what she lost, to become someone who couldn't be diminished by her opinion. The upgrade wasn't for her, it was for him. Step 5. He didn't badmouth her. When friends asked what happened, he kept it simple. We wanted different things. No social media rants, no group chat screenshots, no character assassination. Why? Because trash-talking your ex makes you look bad. It keeps you attached. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And Alex speed ran his way to indifference by refusing to engage in the narrative battle. Step 6. He trusted his decision. Even when Maya came back, even when she apologized, even when she said she'd changed, he trusted that the version of himself who left had good reasons. And he didn't second-guess that decision just because time had passed. This is where most people fail. They think, enough time has passed, maybe things are different now. Time doesn't change people. Decisions change people. And Maya never made a different decision. She just regretted the outcome of her original one. Step 7. He built a better life. Not to spite Maya, because he finally could. Without someone comparing him to other men, without negotiating his worth, without walking on eggshells, he built the life he actually wanted. And guess what? That life didn't include someone who needed her coworkers' permission to value him.
The thing about Alex's story is it's not dramatic. There's no big confrontation, no explosive argument, no revenge plot. It's just a dude who decided he was done and meant it. And in a world where people break up 12 times before actually ending things, where no contact lasts 3 days before someone caves, where people take back cheaters and liars and people who publicly humiliate them, Alex's simple, clean exit is revolutionary. He showed that you don't need to win the breakup. You just need to leave it. And if you leave cleanly enough, completely enough, permanently enough, you don't just survive the breakup. You become someone the breakup couldn't touch. Maya didn't break Alex. She freed him. She just expected him to come back, to orbit around her like a sad satellite. Instead, he left her solar system entirely. And by the time she realized what she'd lost, he was galaxies away.
Let's zoom out and talk about what this story says about dating in 2025. Because Maya's behavior, it's not unique, it's epidemic. We live in this weird era where everyone's simultaneously dating you and shopping for your replacement. Social media has turned relationships into optimization problems. Can I do better? What if someone hotter, richer, funnier exists? Maya's coworkers didn't give her bad advice because they were evil. They gave her bad advice because they're products of the same system. A system that says, never settle, always upgrade. Your partner is a reflection of your value. Which is why Maya needed her coworkers' validation to break up with Alex. His worth wasn't determined by their relationship. It was determined by consensus. The group chat says you're mid, so you must be mid. This is dating by committee. And it's everywhere. How many relationships have ended because someone's friends said you could do better? How many people have stayed in bad relationships because their friends said there's such a catch? We've outsourced our judgment to people who don't live our lives. Alex's story is powerful because he refused to participate in that system. He didn't try to win over Maya's coworkers, didn't ask for a second chance, didn't make a case for his value. He just left. And that broke Maya's brain, because the script says, guy gets dumped, guy begs, girl feels powerful, maybe she takes him back, maybe she doesn't. Alex skipped the whole script, and without his participation, Maya couldn't play her role. The floor not ceiling comment is perfect because it explains the whole dynamic. Maya thought Alex was her baseline, the safe option, the fallback. She could stand on that foundation and reach for something higher. And if the reach failed, she'd still have the floor. Except Alex wasn't a floor. He was a person. And when he left, she fell. Hard. The dating pool she'd been promised turned out to be a puddle, full of dudes who talked a big game but delivered nothing. The coworkers who hyped her up stopped caring the moment the drama ended. The better options either didn't exist or didn't want her. And suddenly, the boring stability she'd traded away looked real good. But it was too late, because Alex had learned the most important lesson. Never be someone's backup plan. If they don't choose you first, don't let them choose you last. This story also highlights the performance trap of modern masculinity. Society tells men, provide, pursue, prove yourself, earn love. Alex did all that. Paid most of the bills, supported Maya's career, gave her space, communicated, and it still wasn't enough, because the game is rigged. You can't earn unconditional respect by jumping through hoops. Either someone respects you or they don't, and if they don't, no amount of performing will change that. Alex's refusal to perform for Maya's approval was radical. Most dudes would have tried to level up to win her back, hit the gym harder, make more money, post thirst traps. Not Alex. He just lived his life for himself. And ironically, that's what made him actually attractive. Not the job, or the money, or the city. The self-respect. The ability to walk away from disrespect and mean it. That's the attractive quality. Not desperation, not performance. Self-respect. Maya wanted the benefits of Alex without the respect for Alex. And when he removed the benefits, she realized the respect should have been there all along. Too late. The lesson? Don't be Maya, and if you're Alex, stay gone.
All right, let's wrap this up with the real-world takeaways. Because if you're reading this and seeing yourself in Alex's position, here's what you need to know. Lesson 1. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Maya told Alex her coworkers thought she could do better. That wasn't a rough moment. That was her truth. She literally told him, "I've been comparing you to other men and you're losing." The correct response isn't to try harder, it's to leave. Lesson 2. Closure is a gift you give yourself. You don't need the other person to understand. You don't need them to agree. You don't need a final conversation where everything makes sense. You just need to decide you're done and act on it. Closure isn't something you get, it's something you take. Lesson 3. No contact isn't punishment, it's protection. People frame no contact as this cruel thing you do to hurt your ex. Wrong. It's a boundary you set to protect your peace, your progress, your future. Because the person who hurt you will try to come back, and if there's a pathway, you'll waver. Block the pathways, protect yourself. Lesson 4. Never downgrade yourself to maintain a relationship. Alex could have tried to improve to meet Maya's standards, make more money, dress better, be more exciting. He didn't, because those weren't her standards, they were her coworkers' standards, and he had no interest in auditioning for people who'd never even met him. Lesson 5. The best revenge is no revenge. Alex didn't try to hurt Maya, didn't blast her on social media, didn't turn friends against her. He just lived well, and that destroyed her more than any revenge plot could have. Lesson 6. Stability is not boring, it's rare. Our culture glorifies chaos, drama, passion, crazy love. But you know what's actually valuable? Someone who shows up, pays bills, communicates, stays consistent. Maya confused stability with mediocrity. Big mistake. Stability is the foundation. Everything else is just decoration. Lesson 7. Your value doesn't require consensus. Maya needed a group vote to validate her decision. Alex didn't need anyone's permission to leave. He just knew his worth. That's power. So what happened to Alex in the end? He's in a different city, better job, better relationship, better life. Not because he won anything, because he chose himself. And Maya, from what Alex hears through the grapevine, she's still searching, still comparing, still restless. Because people who make decisions by committee never find peace. There's always another opinion, another comparison, another what if. If you're in Alex's position right now, if someone just told you their friends think you're not good enough, here's what you do. Don't argue, don't defend, don't audition. Just leave. Pack your stuff, block the channels, upgrade your life. Not to show them what they lost, to become someone who can't be diminished by their opinion. And when they come back, and they will come back, stay gone. Because the person who needed someone else's permission to value you will never value you enough. Alex didn't get closure from Maya. He didn't get an apology that mattered. He didn't get validation. He got something better. Freedom. Freedom from comparison, from negotiation, from proving his worth. And that freedom, worth more than any relationship that required him to shrink. The end. Not of Alex's story, that's still going strong, but the end of Maya's access to it. And honestly, that's beautiful.